Hello students. In today's class for school organization and management, we've taken up the second unit, and in the second unit with the topic school as an organization, we would be taking up the subtopic school building, design and components, including hostels. Now, when we talk about the school building is one of the very important aspects in education. It is of great concern because it impacts education and it impacts education directly. The school building is a broad term which covers the building part, playground, furniture, instruments, library, hostel, and other equipments. The location of the school is also important because for maximum benefit, it is important that apart from the school building being well constructed, it has to be approachable because the location of the school will affect the whole educational program as well as the physical and mental development of the students. Adequate layout of the land, healthy surroundings, fresh air, a good supply of water and light are required. These are some of the variables that determine the location of the school. A well-designed building with good construction on a well-selected site is bound to create sound educational atmosphere as per the requirements. The educational requirements of the present day have changed altogether. Earlier, in ancient times, during the Guru Shishya Parampara, students would sit on mats under trees in the open surroundings when knowledge was imparted. But in the present complex age, with the development of science and technology, psychology also has an impact. The learning and teaching methods are now not so simple. In school, each subject and activity is important. Apparatuses of special kind have been designed. Equipments are required. The school can achieve its objectives and discharge its duties completely when the school building, that is its location, building, and equipments are all appropriate. Some of the important principles of school design include space. What space is required per student? It is 1.3 meters, square meters. There has to be an additional of 2 meters of space between the wall and the first row of students. 50 square meters of space is required for a class of 40 students. Because in any case, we would definitely be having more than 20 students in a class. In our country, there are primary schools which have just 1 or 2 classrooms and an office. That's a very basic primary school located in certain remote areas of the country. A secondary school needs several classrooms and additional facilities like the library, labs, computer room, sick room, assembly hall, a porch or a veranda that is being utilized well as per the needs of the school. The situation of the location of the school is important. What is the cost that is being put in? As mentioned in the introductory part, lighting is important, which includes ample natural light coming into the classroom, and the classrooms need to be well ventilated as well. Services and infrastructure, the building material used, and community participation. It is important that members of the community willingly participate and participate in a positive manner for the school. It begins with the master planning. A school that is built for the future. The concept of individual differences are also kept in mind when the school is being planned. It could require certain arrangements for the specially challenged students. Resource centers, grouping for large number of students, for example, the auditorium, and for a small number of students, a conference hall that could be well utilized for the teacher and a small group of students. So when we talk about the building, school should be housed in beautiful buildings which are not only stimulating centers of education for children, but also vital centers of community life. I repeat what is mentioned. School buildings should be housed in beautiful buildings which are not only stimulating centers of education for children, but also vital centers of community life. I'll be showing you two buildings which fall under the principles. One is more than 100 years old, the famous Mayo College of Ajmer. It is a palace that is being converted into a school now. Beautiful architecture, open surroundings, ample of natural light, ample of ventilation, and a lot of playground for students. Another example is the famous Rajkumar College of Rajkot. It is also housed in a palatial building which has all the amenities required for the school, including ample of light, well ventilation, rooms that have ceilings that are very high, which maintains the temperature. These are some of the school buildings that are old but are being utilized very well. Now, when we talk about the building part of it, it has to fulfill the curriculum adequacy. What is required according to the curriculum has to be fulfilled by the building. Safety and well-being of the students is of utmost importance. Now the buildings that are coming up are earthquake resistant. Fire safety equipments are put at appropriate places. Hoses that are required are put at appropriate places. There should be no sharp edges, corners that would hurt the students. That includes the well-being of the student. Interfunctional coordination in the building is required. That how the student would move from one part of the building to the other, one room to the other, from a classroom to the library, from the classroom to the laboratory. The movement has to be functional and convenient for the student. Efficiency of the building, that is, the space is being efficiently used. It is being designed in such a manner that it is efficient in use. Beautification of the building, the exterior of the building is important. Adaptability is according to the needs of a special child. It has to be adaptable for the normal students, special children as well, and for some special requirements also need to be fulfilled. Economy is an important aspect that we keep in mind when a building is being, when the architecture of the building is being made. Now, what are the rooms required in a school building? There are classrooms, the primary requirement. The library is an important room in a school. Assembly hall. At times, there's an indoor assembly hall where the students get together and the assembly is being conducted. The science labs, it could be an integrated science lab, and it may be that the school houses of physics, chemistry, biology labs separately as well. A spacious art room which fulfills the needs. Most of the schools have an art room where the students are free. They have drawing boards being placed over there. They have provision to put up paintings. They have painting boards as well that can be utilized well. Workshops and sheds are required. For schools that have the elective subjects in class 11 and 12, for example, they may require a workshop or they may require a shed for that. A music room. Most of the time, a music room is kept aloof, and some of the schools make the music room soundproof as well, so that it does not disturb the other classes that are in progress. Cafeteria is important. A medical room with a nursing assistant and a doctor on call available. Or in some of the big schools, they have a doctor on campus as well. There's a room for the school counselor where counseling takes place regularly. Students in need for counseling utilize this room along with the school counselor. The principal's office is important, which is most of the time centrally located, so that even if the school has 2 wings, 3 wings, they can be monitored easily. The office room with required equipment, with a system, a printer, and at times a photostat machine as well. The staff room is quite close to the principal's office, so that the principal has access to the staff room, may interact with the teachers when required, and may call a teacher when required. The examination room is most of the time out of bounds for students, and it houses the question papers, the answer scripts for the years they are being stored over there. The storage and supply room is a big room in which the storage and supply for the entire school building is being kept. Some of the schools have a museum as well, which is being maintained by the curator of the school. Now, when we talk about the type of school buildings, there are school buildings of different shapes. Shapes could be the I shape. That means it's more like a linear building. The L-shaped building is linear, and some of the classes are along the L part of it. The T-shaped building. The U-shaped building has the classrooms along the U shape, and there's a ground in between, which at times could be utilized as the assembly ground, or at times could be utilized as a ground for gatherings as well. The E-shape or the E-type building may have 2 grounds between the classrooms that come in between, or the offices, the principal's office, the school's admin office. The H-type building and the I-type building, which is being repeated again. The school hostel is one of the important aspects that a school has. Why does a school have a hostel? The need for the school hostel arises because if the distance from the home to school is more, it is difficult for the students to commute. Then they are housed in the hostel. Students whose parents are frequently transferred and their education keeps getting disrupted again and again, they utilize the services of the school hostel. It is also utilized by students whose home environment is unhealthy or unhappy due to whatsoever reasons. And most importantly, for parents who are looking for good education for their wards, they put the students in the school hostel. When we talk about the school hostel and the building, the site is an important aspect. The hostel should be close to the school or at a very small, short distance, and it has to be hygienic. When we talk about the building, it's preferred to be quadrangle and it's closed. That is for effective control and supervision and safety purposes as well. Because the main gate of a quadrangular building is easily controlled, monitored, and can be locked when required. The school hostel has a common room. The common room has a television which is being utilized by all students together. A reading room, a guest room where parents can stay for a night when they come, visitors room when the visitors come to visit the students, a sick room is important, and the hostel warden's room where parents are attended, the students can go up and speak to the warden when required. What are the records and registers maintained at the hostel? Most importantly, the stock register. The stock register, the physical verification is done annually. The admission register. The details of the student admitted is maintained in the admission register. Attendance register is used to mark the attendance of the students, which is done in the morning and evening. The mess accounts register, the cash book, committee register, the various committees in the hostel. Correspondence register, the correspondence from the warden to others. It could be the administration, it could be the school principal, or it could be the parents, that correspondence register. Reading room register, common room register, and visitors register. All these are maintained to keep a track of what has been maintained, of who has come and visited a student, who are the visitors, and what was the duration during which they came to visit. The duties of the warden or the hostel superintendent include supervising the living conditions of the students in the hostel, appropriate mess arrangements for the food, accounts, and general supervision. Thank you.